Hey, everybody, we're back for another edition of the Fantasy Football Expo podcast series. That gentleman is Max Loeb from Loeb Leads. You may remember him from last year. It was his first year. He's going to talk more about his experience, but also he's got some cool stuff happening, and it is coming next. Oh, yeah. Love the returnees. Love having you back, Max. Good to see you, man. Long time no see. I know we literally live like 60 minutes from each other, but we all have, we just don't hang out as much as we love to, but we will be hanging out once again in Canton, Ohio. You will be there your second year.
Yes, sir.
How you doing? What's going on in your life? It's sunny in Cleveland and Canton at the same time, which is even more amazing. So what's going on, brother?
Nothing much. I appreciate you having me back on. I'm super, super pumped to come back this year. Yeah, I feel like it's the first time it's been sunny all across a strip of Ohio in a few weeks. It's nice. Knock on wood, we keep the weather up, but all is well. All is well in Cleveland. The NFL offseason is entering the dog days. Unfortunately, it's difficult in terms of the content and news world for sure, but getting through. OTAs are keeping us alive, especially in the Browns world. Now, compared to last year, I am also a host of a Browns show called Honor the Land. So we are talking a bunch about that now. It's been a crazy whirlwind of a past week and really month leading back to the draft. But the NFL offseason is slowly slowing down. And then before we know it, the season's going to be back up. So I'm very,
I hear you. And as somebody that lives local, as we mentioned, I swear, do they follow Shador Sanders into the bathroom when he takes a dump? Every day there's a new video, and I'm like, can this guy breathe? Like, let him go. We get it that you're going for the shock value. You're hoping he says something stupid, does something stupid. Just give it a break, guys. It's so annoying every time I turn, or get on like when I get on not Chrome, because Chrome doesn't have it, but MSN, whatever, it pops up, and every day it's like, Sanders is, what did he say today to the public about, this? And I'm like, I don't care. Just play football. Just let him go.
100% with you.
Yeah. So I'm sure you hear it enough, and then you're doing a show. So I'm sure you're hearing people in your ear as well about it. But it is what it is, and maybe he works out, and maybe maybe they did the right thing. I hope so.
Fingers crossed.
Hopefully the kid can make a difference. We'll see. But again, we're here to talk about you. So you do the Honor the Land. Obviously, you got your Loeb Leads podcast site. Is there another one that you're doing too?
No, it's really just those two, but Loeb's Leads kind of stretches into a bunch of different worlds. I mean,
is it Big Play or something?
Yeah, so Big Play is the host of Honor the Land. So Big
Gotcha.
Play,
okay.
But the people at Big Play are great too. Oh my gosh, they're awesome. There's a bunch of cool shows. You got guys like Hanford Dixon, Pookie Gibson, Carlos Baerga, like a bunch of former athletes who are also pairing up with creators like myself to make really cool podcasts. So it's really cool over at Big Play.
Yeah, definitely want to check that out more. I'll have to subscribe so I can start getting the things sent to me. But let's take a step back. Not step to last year where you came to the expo. Let's go way back here. For those who missed your interview last year, talk about that beginning phase for you. When did you start playing fantasy football? Who pulled you into it? Were you kicking and streaming? Were you excited? How did you do? How did that first fantasy football experience go for you, man?
So my first fantasy football year, I can't remember exactly which year it was. I couldn't have been more than probably 12 or 13 years old.
Like 4 years ago.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you can see by the facial hair. Exactly, yeah. But no, the first year of fantasy football, I remember I did. It was the height of the Denver Broncos offense with Peyton Manning, Wes Welker, Eric Decker, Demaryius Thomas that year. Because I vividly remember losing to Peyton Manning in the fantasy playoffs.
Yeah.
But after that, I really got my friends involved. The player who really pulled me in, still one of my favorite players to date, was Jordy Nelson. Jordy Nelson was a guy I had on my team for a couple of years who I absolutely loved. I grew up a Giants fan, so obviously Victor Cruz and Odell throughout those years, I had those guys on my team too. But yeah, fantasy football was always just something that was in my life really as far back as I can remember. And as I entered I guess, late high school and early college, I knew I wanted to work in football in some sense. I didn't know the route I wanted to go,
Yeah.
and I understood the broad, I guess community is the right word, but really
Mhm.
alumni network that John Carroll has in terms of the football world. So I went to John Carroll out in Cleveland, Ohio. I was a
Nice.
student assistant on the football team for 4 years there, but when I was in college, COVID hit. So it kind
Mm.
of forced me to look internally with very not a lot to do. And I just started posting content. I made this page called Loeb's Leads in the summer of 2020. I'm not really sure,
Okay.
summer of 2020, and
Right.
I've been posting videos on there ever since. And after I graduated in 2023, became my full time job. I have a full time content creator now on Loeb's Leads, which stretches to a bunch of different regions. Football, fantasy football are the main things, but now daily fantasy, sports
Mm.
betting.
Right.
I've also been lucky enough to work on Honor the Land and create a more in-depth world as it relates to some of the same stuff, fantasy football, sports betting,
Mhm.
but the Cleveland area, Cleveland culture, the Browns, even
Sure.
other Cleveland sports. So really, since graduation, I have 2 years full time being a content creator. It's been awesome. I've been able to magnify Lowe's leads to heights I never could have even
Cool.
imagined.
Yeah.
It's been a lot of fun. I've been super, super blessed.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's good stuff. And like you said, there are some big names in that group. He's talking about the Browns players, Hanford Dixon, and all those guys. So, yeah, that's a big deal. So, congrats to you and well done. So, last year you came to the expo,
Yep.
your first year. How did you hear about it then? I think we talked about it, but we'll just kind of revisit it. What, where did you see it? How did you hear about it? I mean, obviously you're local, but I've said this to a lot of people. Local people don't hear, somehow
Yeah.
they don't hear about it. So this is not a joke, folks. 90% of the attendees at the Fantasy Football Expo the last 2 to 3 years are not from the state of Ohio. Not
Which is
just not Northeast Ohio,
crazy. It's crazy.
not just not Northeast Ohio, the entire state. 25 people came from California last year.
It's crazy.
So, and I've tried everything from billboards to ESPN last year, tried to do that stuff. That was worthless. It was just like, I finally just said, I don't know what to do. So I'm just we're going to focus on just the whole big picture and maybe pull more people from Pittsburgh or
Mm.
Detroit or Chicago or wherever, because people around here, and the sad part is, I meet people face to face and I'll go, hey, you play fantasy football? Oh, yeah, I've been playing for like 10, 15 years. Oh, man, I love it. Do you know the biggest fantasy football expo in the country is held right here in Canton, Ohio in August? No, no idea.
It's crazy.
And I don't know what to do. So anyway, be that enough of my rant. How did you find out about it?
Yeah, so last year was my first year as an exhibitor, but
Okay.
I went, I believe it was just the last day, but at
Mhm.
least for one day,
Yeah, right.
2 years prior. And
Yeah.
that spring slash summer before, I was an intern in the USFL with the Pittsburgh
Mm,
Callers, which hosted a team in Canton, Ohio. And I was
right.
there on campus every single day, walking around, and I'd see billboards. So I can assure you the marketing did work, at least for people who were on campus around the stadium. But
Right.
no, I saw it and I was like, this is super cool. I want to at least see what this is like. And I went, yeah, I think it was the final day or one of the days 2 years ago, and met up with a bunch of people who I've interacted with or who follow me. And it was a really
Mhm.
good time. It was really cool. And I thought, just looking at the exhibitors that year when I was just kind of walking around and doing stuff, I thought this could be so cool if I was able to turn it around and use this app as an opportunity to promote my brand or some of the merchandise that I sell, whatever it may be.
Mhm.
So I did that the year after. So last year was my first year as an
Mhm.
exhibitor, and it was really, really cool. Ultimately, I found an eye-opening experience in two ways. Number one, the Saturday, I don't think it was morning, but Saturday before the actual first day of the expo started, the I think it was like sports betting centric day on Saturday.
Oh, yeah, sports betting Saturday. Yeah.
Yes, sports betting Saturday. Yes, I was able to meet a ton of people, and that was so cool because it was more laid back. There weren't as many people as there were on Sunday. I was
Right.
able to just meet a ton of people and walk around and truly understand what was going on at each of the booths, what each
Sure.
group was doing. And then on Sunday, it really opened my eyes just to how many people have so many unique interests in fantasy football. People were coming up to my table with some of my merchandise and the game that I had set up with absolutely no idea who I was, but they saw a mini
Right.
football and a goalpost that they could throw and some
Right.
sweatshirts that said coffee, red zone, repeat. And they were like, I think this is so cool. And they were saying the same thing to other booths. They were looking at different things at other booths. Everybody has such unique interests. And
Mhm.
that's what was really cool to me. It wasn't eye opening in the sense that I had no idea that people loved the fantasy football. It was more eye opening in the sense that I had no idea how many different avenues of fantasy football people were proud of
Yeah.
or had a brand behind. Like I also remember talking to the guys from Trophy Tiers who were also
Mhm.
local guys who
Yeah, right. Yeah, Brandon. Yeah, he's coming back. He's coming
awesome.
again. Yeah.
Yeah, he's Brandon's the best. It was so cool to see their 3D printed trophy, all that stuff. It
Mhm.
was so cool. It was so cool to see so many people who are passionate about the same things you're passionate about, but in a unique way.
Yeah, and I think thank you. That means a lot. And the funny thing is, people always ask, like, when you started this, what did you think this was going to be like, and what did you expect? And I go, I just like I live in Canton. I got the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Why don't everybody just come here and we'll do some drafts and we'll hang out and we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
And last year you were one of them. We had 60% new
Oh,
exhibitors.
I didn't know that. That's awesome.
And this year I think we're probably heading for the same number,
Nice.
which, as you said, is amazing because every day somebody reaches out to me or I meet them at the FSGA conference and they've got something like you said, just like, wow, that's yeah, right. How did nobody think of this before?
Yeah.
Right. And it, whether it's a genre, whether it's a game, whether it's an app, whether it's, your stuff, Brandon's tiers, it's somebody like, and again, I started 20 some years ago. So
Mhm.
I was that same person. Like, I've got this idea for consistency and I think it's pretty cool and I'm using it and I'm winning. So I want to share this.
Yeah.
And, I didn't have the expo to do that
Yeah,
20
exactly.
years
Yeah.
ago.
Yeah.
But like you said, it's just amazing the people. And sometimes, like you said, some of these people come out of the woodwork,
Hmm.
and they're like, hey, we have X. Wow. Okay. They don't even know that FSGA is. They just they just saw on Twitter that there was an expo and they thought they should come. Cool, let's go.
Yeah.
And it's just so much fun helping them and getting them settled. And you were local, so it was easier for you to understand the area, and you didn't have to worry about driving and getting places. So that kind of stuff. But still, like you said, just whether it's a dynasty thing or IDP thing or a Devi and guillotines, and they have all these different leagues, and it's like it just adds to the fun.
Yeah. It's so
If
cool.
we all did the exact same thing and played in the exact same leagues with the 12 people and it's the exact same scoring, then where's the fun?
It wouldn't be
After
fun.
a while, just like, okay, yeah.
Yep. I'm with you.
But yeah, no, and again, thank you for those comments. I love it. Talk about it from just an attendee perspective. What for somebody who is new coming in, who's listening to this podcast. Talk about now. Granted, you were local, so you didn't have like the hotel experience and that
Yeah.
stuff because you were local. But just talk about the overall vibe, the feel, the people, and just your thoughts of what you expected, didn't expect, and what you saw like just out of the camaraderie stuff.
The camaraderie, that's a good word. The, I guess, like mindedness of everybody
Sure, which makes it
was
yeah.
cool. Like it was so cool to see that. I struggle to find different words, but it was awesome to see how many people were interested in the same thing that you were.
Mm-hmm.
And you could go up to legitimately anybody in that building, or somebody could go up to you, anybody could go up to you
Right.
and strike up a conversation like that because you know why you're here. I think going as an exhibitor the last year was, I guess, a little bit different because I more had like a responsibility.
Right. And you had a more of a business perspective to what you were trying to, you weren't going to enjoy the event.
Exactly.
You were enjoying the event, but you were also going because you wanted to promote your brand, which I
Yeah.
get. Yeah.
But honestly, it was maybe a little bit more enjoyable just going and walking around because it
Yeah.
was so fun to, number one, to see all the cool different ideas because half the things there I hadn't even heard of before. But
Right.
number two, just to meet so many different people, to see so many different companies and see everybody's unique perspective on a game that we all love and treat as a pretty big part of our life for half the year.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't really expect that. I expected to walk around and have the different people's products promoted and kind of pushed in my face, to be honest with you. But that
Yeah.
was not the case at all. That was
No.
not the case
Yeah.
at all. Everybody was willing to have a conversation to get an understanding on why you would like their product if they were trying to
Mm-hmm.
sell their product rather than
Right.
just pushing something in your face, as well as have a conversation about who you are, what you do for fantasy, and everything like this. So going as an attendee was just really, really fun, especially for that night out on Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's having fun. If you like to drink, you're drinking with your friends, and everybody's
Mm-hmm.
just passionate about the same thing, playing games that we all enjoy. You literally can't ask for more.
Yeah. I think the thing I also hear a lot of, and you probably hopefully will agree, was there are no egos.
No.
If somebody never played fantasy and said, I want you to walk into this group of hundreds of people and pick out who are the biggest names in the business, I don't think they could do it.
Probably not a lot of people know.
No, because they're not going to see people. I mean, there's certainly people around the Bob Harrises and Howard Benders and Andy Barons, but they're not. They're not like putting their chest out like they're better
Yeah,
than anybody else.
absolutely. I know what.
They'll have a conversation with you. They'll agree or disagree with you with whatever take you have,
Yeah,
but they're very polite about it. Like you're
absolutely.
wrong, but
Yeah, yeah. They are. Everybody's at least in some sense open minded in the fantasy
yeah,
community, anyways.
yeah.
But
And I
there's
think that's what's cool.
yes,
A
absolutely.
lot of people said, "Well, I'm not going to that because I've seen what Twitter's like, and there's
Oh,
all these trolls, and I don't want to go there and have to have a troll get in my face." And I'm like, "You're not going to find those people there, not even close.
no.
And if you do, probably you'll get their ass kicked."
Yes, probably. Yeah.
But no, that's good stuff. So talk about this year. You're coming again. You got a booth. You're excited. Are you bringing any of the other folks? Like, is anybody from the land coming down with you? That maybe will be joining you at your thing to share a booth or even share their knowledge.
Not that I know of yet, but this year
Okay.
will look a little bit different. Last year was very, I don't think social centric was the right word, but last year was more laid back where
Yeah.
we had merchandise on the table. It was a makeshift thing where you had a flag in the back and a game up front, and I was just kind of going with the flow. This year, number one, will look very different for sure, but number two, the priority this year is to just build relationships with the people around them. Like
Yeah. Cool.
there's not a lot of people or really anybody that I could think of, at least from last year, that's coming as kind of an independent content creator who does their own thing, who works with different brands, but kind of an independent content creator that people will walk around and naturally see that nobody has any idea what this hat means. Nobody has any idea what that flag means. Like nobody's got any clue. So
Right.
this year for me, it is more about building relationships with the people while also telling them what I do, letting them know what I do,
Mm-hmm.
hopefully blazing a trail for people who are doing the same thing as me. I know there
Mm-hmm.
are people who are doing the same thing as me in the content creation world, but bringing it to a new professional sense, allowing people to understand that, the people who make TikToks on the internet or, make Instagram reels are, for the most part, people who are passionate and as passionate as a lot of the other people in the same space with a new
Right.
avenue to display that passion. So for
Mm-hmm.
me, this is bigger than just a booth at the Fantasy Football Expo to get more followers or to sell a few sweatshirts. This is me trying to pave the way for
Right.
other people who are in the same shoes as me, who I know are doing the same things, but haven't had this type of opportunity or experience to demonstrate that yet.
Right. No, and definitely for those out there that are watching that are in that boat that Max is talking about, hit him up. You see the Twitter. I mean, you can always reach out to me, but if you want to hear it, the old horses from the horse's mouth.
Yeah.
Here's a guy that was there last year for his, first time as an exhibitor. He saw things, he did things, and he's making changes, and that's what you do. You improve, you expand and continue to grow. So I think that's great. And again, anybody who wants to reach out, I'm sure Max will be happy to answer any questions, do whatever you need to do, as will most people. But doing the same thing there. Any cool stuff, giveaways at the booth, anything like that?
Yeah, there will be giveaways for some merchandise. I have to figure out exactly what merchandise there will be, but it'll likely be sweatshirts. But for any local people that are there as well, you will have an opportunity to have a special feature on Honor the Land. Not 100% sure what that looks like, but in terms of we have a weekly show, potentially a bi-weekly show when the season rolls around. There will be some type of unique feature for you if you are a local. Doesn't even have to be Northeast Ohio, just Northern Ohio, preferably a Browns fan, but from Ohio who has some pride in Cleveland. We have a special something for you.
There you go. I'll get one.
Yes, absolutely. Maybe we'll have some of these shirts too. You can't see the shirt, but
there we go. Yeah, I definitely got to get an Honor the Land shirt. Heck yeah,
absolutely,
that's for sure. So as we kind of tie this up here, again, thanks for coming on. Thanks for being an exhibitor again this year. Again, I always love the returnees. Special place in my heart for you folks as well. Any last things you want to just tell everybody, but like where you're at, what your various podcast sites, social media, all that kind of great stuff, and then I'll take it out from there.
Yeah, absolutely. All my socials. Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. It's the same handle at Loeb's Leads, LOE as in everyone, B as in boy, S Leads. Also, Honor the Land, exactly how it sounds. Honor the Land on all of those same platforms with the exact same handle. We have weekly shows on there. So if you guys are a Browns fan or even an AFC North fan, we talk about the AFC North a lot, but make sure you check that out as well. Plenty of content, especially as the summer rolls on. We will have some unique stuff when there's not too much football to talk about, but when August rolls around, the Browns content will be pumped out like no other.
Perfect. And hopefully I'll get on the show sometime this summer as well. And we'll talk with all the folks from Northeast Ohio and try to see if they can get some people to come down to the event, especially on Sunday when all the great stuff is happening. So again, Max, thank you again for being a part of the show. Everybody, don't forget, June 1st, price goes up again on those tickets. So if you want to save another $10, get on there and get your tickets. So it goes up June 1st. So make sure you do that at the ffexpo.com. Of course, you can follow me at Bob_Lung, and the expo you can follow on all socials at the FF Expo. So for Max, I'm Bob. Take care. God bless. We'll see you soon.
Thanks for watching. Lock in your 2025 football tickets now at thefantasyfootballexpo.com. Hit subscribe and check out one of these excellent at FF Expo videos next.